Welcome to my channel. I'm Nataku, and today I'm going to be helping y'all win more fights as Froppy. If you want your games to end up looking like this, or even something like this, you're going to want to stick around until the end, as well as drop a like and a subscription down below for future content. I will also be featuring a tier list at the end of the video to give a guide on how to approach fights among the different characters. Jumping right in with initiating fights with Froppy, I'd say there's 3 best ways to go about it. 1, from the air. 2, always activating your camo first. Or 3, a ground alpha beta. Now from the air, you're obviously gonna have a height advantage, as well as this sets you up for Froppy's highest damage combo of 3 alphas and 2 betas. Going into your camo before every fight is optimal because you're giving yourself a speed boost while making it harder for your opponent to see you. This works best if the person you're approaching is busy opening chests or already fighting somebody. Now, a ground alpha beta is usually my go-to ground attack because it's the fastest and highest damage attack you have to get off with Froppy without having to jump into the air first. Now, this works best if your opponent has their back turned to you or is distracted, because missing a ground alpha as Froppy does leave you pretty vulnerable, not allowing you to roll or use any other attack until your tongue reels back in. Another way to have a higher success rate is using your own wake up timing to set up an attack. What I mean by that is after taking a certain amount of damage or attacks from an opponent, you go into a short animation no longer allowing damage. This animation usually pops you up into the air, giving you time to either alpha away from a situation or set you up for your next alpha or beta attack. That would look something like this. Not only does it pull you toward your opponent, it doubles as damage for an easy down if your opponent is low enough. Now, for what abilities to upgrade first in a match, I think this is solely personal preference depending on if you prioritize high damage first or mobility first. Me personally, I prioritize mobility first, so I'll always upgrade my alpha to level 9 before my beta. However, when the match starts, Froppy has very poor movement at level 1, so I'd always recommend putting your first level up cards into your alpha until it reaches level 4. After that, I would recommend getting your beta up to level 4 as well, just to get it more damage and more reach. Now, if you're someone who prioritizes high damage first, I'd still follow the same rule of upping my alpha to level 4 first, but all my cards after that would go into my beta until level 9. As for Froppy's camo, that can wait until your attacks are maxed out. Froppy only has 2 attacks, not including her melee, so it's important to level those first. Another crucial point to winning fights with Froppy is with the recent update, any quirk that sends you airborne has a different gravity mechanism than before. You now have a lot more freedom of movement, making Froppy one of the top tier fighters in 1v1s. Want to whip around as much as possible, making it harder for your opponent to hit you, while also setting up your next attack. Holding your stick forward as you fly through the air gives you more forward momentum. Now, this can be slowed down slightly when you first activate your alpha by pulling back on your movement. You can slow yourself down, giving yourself enough time to readjust for your next move. For winning fights and team battles when deciding who to attack first, assuming you know all of the opposing team's quirk, I'd recommend going for any of the insta-res characters first. These players are a vital part of how a team battle turns out. Many players will fight a lot more aggressive and a lot less smart, knowing that they can get picked up instantly. If the team doesn't have an insta-res character, I'd say you need to attack who is going to be the biggest threat to the team. That's going to be characters with big AoE attacks like Young Offer One or Momo, or high damage characters like Endeavor or Present Mike. If we were looking at a team matchup of something like this, I'd say Ibarra would be who I focus first, as she has 2 revives in her kit, and with something like Reinforced Revive in the game, I'd consider her the most valuable person to the team. Another team situation, if they didn't have a healer, I'd say I'd go for Rapid All Might first. His attacks have the most range out of this team, and his slam hit multiple people at once. Another tip that's going to help end fights very quickly is after you hit a ground beta and your opponent's shield is already cracked, your opponent gets knocked away out of range for another beta, and instead of rolling away or letting your opponent hit the ground, you can actually hit an alpha while they're still in the air, and that's going to look something like this. Now here we are at the tier list. As you can see here, I have 6 different tiers. And like I was saying at the beginning of the video, all of these categories are how you should go about fighting these characters. For the don't run section, these are going to be characters I wouldn't recommend trying to run away from. 4 out of the 5 characters here have stun attacks that are very punishing and easy to hit once you turn your back to them, as well as Ida at the end, because he does have aim lock mechanism on all of his attacks. You have a higher success rate of winning the fight if you choose to battle versus run away. Obviously, how much health you and your opponent has is going to determine how aggressive you fight, but these are players who have the advantage once you turn your back to them. Next category I have are players you're going to want to fight at a distance and or with caution. These characters do very high damage as well as have abilities that make it hard for Froppy to get close to them. You can see it is the biggest category as Froppy does only have 500 health, making her a target for many characters to get off easy high damage combos. Someone like Ibarra is going to have a harder time hitting their only long distance attack, giving you free damage if your aim is good. You're not going to want to get close to her as she can drain your HP value significantly, as well as has invincibility on another attack. Cementos and Overhaul are also very good examples of this. Good players can hit their long range attacks with these characters, but it's pretty rare. As long as you stay in the air and maneuver around or use your tongue on the ground to hit them out of their range, it can take away their ability to get off significant damage. The can counter / be careful section, these are going to be players Froppy can cancel out their attacks with her basic ground melee or air melee, but can be punishing if you miss. Someone like Rapid Bakugo is going to be very hard to hit once they're in the air, so fighting is going to be way more about timing. A player using Young All For One is going to use their flight mechanic to either get away from a bad situation or to take advantage with height. So as long as you can time your melee correct, you can get off combos all day. These characters do have animations to where they either stay in place or activate some kind of dash, and your melee animation will always go off first. For the easily countered section, these are characters I consider very predictable, making them easily countered. Froppy's melee has a very easy time canceling out their attacks, which in turn throws off your opponent and can make them nervous and make mistakes. Here's what that looks like on Lady Nagant and a Blue Deku. Now for the free loot category are people I can initiate a fight with fully expecting to win. Their attacks are very predictable, can be dodged, usually all play the same. With Bakugo's explosion roll, it can be cancelled out, taking away his hardest hitting attack. As long as you stay out of Mirio's range, he literally can't touch you, as well as tracking him under the ground and rolling is very easy to time. And for someone like Strike Shigaraki, he only has ground-based attacks, so that's pretty self-explanatory. And for the last category, players you don't want to fight at a distance. These characters have long-range attacks that can melt your health from far away, and you'll have a much higher success rate of winning if you stay close and utilize your melee stuns. Someone like Present Mike has a wide AoE on his long-range attack, making it pretty easy to hit a Froppy out of the air trying to set up an attack. It might be confusing seeing someone like Tech Mirio on here, as hitting him up close isn't an easy task, but staying in the air gives him free damage. With him, you'll want to bait out his counterattack to get damage on him while he stands still, as well as his attack where he goes under the ground and smashes back up. His animation gives him a second of standing still at the end, giving you a moment to strike. That's going to be the end of this video. If you're still here until the end, I appreciate you so much. If you didn't already, go ahead and drop a like on the video. Also, thank you guys so much for 150 subscribers. Next goal is going to be 200. Help out your fellow Froppy. Leave a comment down below what kind of videos you guys would like to see from me next. And I hope you guys start winning more fights as Froppy.